So Mufasa, the prequel to the 2019 live-action Lion King movie, is out in theaters. Honestly, the trailers of this look fantastic, and given that I also visited Serengeti this summer, I was really excited to check this out. There's a lot I had learned about animal behavior on this trip, and I'm going to go ahead and include some of it in this video as well to show you how factually correct the Lion King Mufasa is. So well, as it clearly suggests, Mufasa is about the story of Mufasa. From when he was a cub to how he became king. In this journey, they show how he met Scar, Sarabi, Zazu and Rafiki as well. The film also explores how Scar turns negative and has a huge track on white lions, which has its own share of flaws, so well, stay tuned to know more. Alright, so let's start off with the good. Right off the bat, the VFX, special effects, cinematography is just brilliant. In fact, much better than the 2019 live-action version. One complaint people had in the 2019 version was that the animals were too expressionless, and this film definitely solves that to a great extent. Their expressions and actions are way more animated, bridging the gap between the real and the cartoonish, but still sticking more to the real. The animals also lip-sync dialogues much better, and overall it feels like a huge leap forward from the 2019 version. The movie is very well paced and edited and keeps you engaged throughout. Though there were a number of songs in the movie, the bulk of them drive the story forward in some way and don't really pull down the pace of the movie. The story and character arcs are also well created. Well, there are a few things I feel could have been done better, but more about that later. The story is narrated by Rafiki to Kiara, Simba's daughter, and Timon and Pumbaa are present as he narrates this. So almost all the comedy in the movie is when the flashback cuts back to the present day to Timon and Pumbaa. Versus, let's say, The Lion King, where constantly throughout the movie you had Timon and Pumbaa, and to an extent even Zazu, adding to the comedy. The movie has a very good score, not as iconic as the original, but still very good. However, if we were to speak about the songs, then not all of them are as iconic as the originals. There are a few that I still really like though. So before we move on to the negatives, let's go ahead and dive into what's factual and what's flawed in The Lion King when it comes to the animal kingdom and animal behavior. What is the typical life cycle of a lion? Typically, once a lion is born, it is sheltered mainly with the mother. The lionesses go and hunt while the lion protects the pride. And if another lion or a group of lions comes there, it's seen as a challenge and a fight takes place between them and the males. If the outsiders kill the king, they take over the pride and, wait for it, kill all the cubs and then mate with all the lionesses as they only want their blood to be a part of the tribe. Now let's assume this does not happen. Then at the age of about 4, when a lion is big enough, it's seen as a threat. Yes, a threat to the king. And the lion's father or the king himself would banish the lion from the pride, as if he doesn't, there's a very good chance that the son would kill the father to become king. Banished lions now roam the wild and brush up on their hunting skills until they are strong enough to challenge a pride and then, well, take over. In a rare instance that a lion comes back to its original pride, he would kill his father and, wait for it, impregnate his own mother and sisters. Man, this shit got way too dark, way too fast. Alright, so let's switch back to The Lion King. Obviously, they weren't going to show any of this, it's a Disney movie, but hey, let's see how successful they were in portraying them right. So they show that Mufasa is separated from his parents when he's a cub, and eventually Cub Scar finds him. Scar's mother takes pity on Mufasa and brings him to the pride. Obviously, Scar's dad takes offense and also goes ahead and says that he would kill Mufasa and eat him. Well, factually correct. He also says that the pride should be of pure blood and an outsider would betray the pride. Well, correct again. Eventually, they wage a bet and Mufasa wins and he's allowed to stay with some restrictions. When Mufasa and Scar are old enough to be banished, they show the pride is attacked by white lions. And Scar's parents ask him and Mufasa to leave and be on their own and save their lives. Although not the exact reason why a grown lion would be banished or sent away, I like the parallel. Now here comes the interesting part. As I said earlier, a pride of white lions attacks Scar's pride. And basically white lions are only found in South Africa. And Disney had earlier admitted that The Lion King was based in Serengeti. Also, there are sequences that show the lions in snow. Again, snow is very, very rare in Africa and only happens in South Africa. So even if we assume that Mufasa and gang traveled all the way from South Africa to Serengeti, it's highly unlikely as it's a distance of about 4,500 kilometers and the entire sequence is shown in at best a week, and for this entire week, they constantly are complaining about how there's no food. So while the visuals of the white lions and the snow were spectacular, in reality this would have never been possible. The climax also gets a little over the top with Mufasa urging the entire animal kingdom to help him fight off the white lions. Again, this is something that would never actually happen in the animal kingdom. Animals would just seek shelter, and moreover, if they saw one lion, let alone an entire pride, they would run. Now they show that the white lions overpower Scar's family and realize that Mufasa and Scar have escaped. They run after them, which okay, makes sense, but later they literally begin to chase them and follow them for weeks, trying to kill them. Again, this would never happen in the animal kingdom as the white lions have defeated the king and now have gained control of the entire pride. A lion would never, with his entire pride, go chasing after a couple of young lions who've fled. Well, let me know what you thought about these, and if you have any other interesting facts about lions or the animal kingdom, then go ahead and drop in a comment. So, well, having said all that, let's move on to the bad. So, firstly, a few inconsistencies. They show that Mufasa and his family are in a drought stricken land, and then it rains. And before you know it, the rain turns into a flood and Mufasa is taken by it. All this happens way too fast without necessary transitions or jump cuts to give the impression that enough time has lapsed, and all this makes it a little unrealistic. Now they show when Mufasa, Sarabi and Scar are on their own, they don't eat in days and yet are able to fully function and fight and survive the toughest conditions. Also, what's funny is that the lions are constantly covering up their tracks as they walk so as to not get spotted or noticed. But at the same time, they sing a number of songs out loud in the open. Disney, I get it. I know you need the songs in the movie, but it could have been done in a smarter way. And lastly, I felt that Mufasa's grief of losing his family was pushed aside way too soon and barely is the feeling ever recalled as he grows up. Well, so on the whole, despite some of the cons and inconsistencies, I've got to say I really enjoyed the movie, and the movie has got some great nostalgic value as well. This is a treat to watch in IMAX, and please only watch this in IMAX, or else you're doing this movie and yourself a disservice. And having said that, on the BNB meter, I'm giving this movie 8 on 10. Book your tickets and see Mufasa become king. If you thought this review was interesting, then please go ahead and like and share it, and let me know in the comments as well as to what you thought about the movie. And hey, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button already. Cheers, and I'll see you soon.